What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video from the Scalar Learning channel. This one is a very special video because it also relates back to my experience as a high school student and applying to colleges. And the title of this video is I didn't get into my dream university, now what? So before I dive into my words of advice and my perspective, I want to go back in time to when I was applying to college and tell you about that story. So I grew up in Michigan, and the schools that I were really interested in attending was basically Harvard University and Columbia University. But I was so excited by Columbia because it was in New York City, it was this amazing school, great reputation, and I really wanted to go there. I was also applying to the University of Michigan, as most of my friends did, because we all grew up in Michigan. Everybody told me that I was definitely gonna get into Columbia, it was gonna be no problem. I had really good grades, solid SAT, all that stuff. Got waitlisted and then eventually didn't get in. This was a very difficult experience because that meant I was gonna go to Michigan. And while Michigan is an amazing school and I love it now, at the time, I just wasn't that excited about it because it was right in my backyard. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because I wanna let you know that I know what it's like to go through this. At the time, it's devastating. These colleges and universities seem like such a big deal if you can get into the right one. And it's quite a crushing thing when you think it's gonna happen and it doesn't. So I'm just letting you know I've been there, I bounced back from it, and then I look back in retrospect and everything worked out, in my opinion, the way it was supposed to, the way it should have. Michigan ended up being an amazing opportunity for me, an incredible place to make friends, make connections, and build the foundation upon which my entire business is now standing. But I wanna give a little bit more perspective on why you should realize that this is not by any means the end of the world. In fact, it is the beginning of your life, and it's gonna be an incredible ride, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, I wanna give you some basic statistics, and this is just to give you a little bit of perspective in terms of limiting beliefs. Now, you might think, oh, I have to go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, Columbia, etc. in order to achieve certain positions in business. So just to shatter that initial limiting belief, I wanna show you the top 10 Fortune 100 companies, and guess what? Out of those top 10 CEOs, only one of them went to an Ivy League school. Now again, this is a small data point, but I do find it interesting because I think the assumption is that every super successful CEO went to some crazy school like Harvard, Yale, etc., but it's not true. At its core, what I believe going to a great university that you feel proud of, whether it's an Ivy League, whether it's a state school, whatever, is that it will give you a baseline level of confidence and validation. I totally get that. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. But what I'm saying is, if it doesn't happen and you're going to a different school, really what's missing, the most important element that is taken away, is the fact that you may not have that confidence. But guess what? That confidence can be developed, and the way it can be developed is through hard work. Yes, going to a certain caliber school will give you certain opportunities, perhaps a certain name recognition, etc. But you can develop that same clout by going to whatever school you've gotten into and going super hard. That means making connections, joining clubs, but most importantly, getting super high grades. If you can hit those marks or go beyond school and then build a business and dive into it and outwork everybody, that confidence will be there regardless. That's the thing, that's the key. Even if you get into a great school, but then you fall short on the effort later, it's all for nothing. The other point I wanna make is that if you are planning to go to graduate school for something like a career in law, medicine, etc., you do get another go around. And what I mean is that whatever happens in your undergraduate career, whatever school you go to, the most important thing will not be that undergraduate school, but it will be that graduate program. I remember when I was going to law school, and I went to a course called Law Preview, which is an amazing course, and they told me then that it's a tabula rasa, it's a blank slate, and this was totally true. Where you end up going to law school, how you perform, etc., ends up meaning everything. Nobody in job interviews ever looked at my undergraduate transcript or particularly cared about it. Instead, they wanted to know about my law school grades and my law school experience. It makes perfect sense from that perspective because I think really the most important determining factor in whether or not you will be a successful attorney is what happens in law school and in your summer internships. My point is that this is just a single step in a lengthy life and career. And while a nice name on your resume definitely can give you a bit of a head start, you can also achieve a head start just by doubling down on your work effort. Most importantly, when you go to college, work hard, but also try a lot of things and figure out what really excites you, what drives you, what brings you pure enjoyment and exhilaration. If you can tap into that, whether it's at 18, 22, 25, 30, everything else will fall into place. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click that like button, and if you want to see more from the Scalar Learning channel, make sure to click subscribe. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.